I am kind of shocked that I'm the one who gets to tell this story for the first time, because I thought for sure I would be the second person giving my version of events, because I figured that yesterday that they were going to get into it, but let's just get into it. So there's the Impact Awards, which is something that Jason Lee puts on every year, it would seem, a Hollywood Unlocked Impact Awards. I get invited, me and Lena pull up, good time. Here's the full timetable. It says on the flyer, red carpet, 6 to 8. We get there at 7:30. I figured that was a safe bet. If we get there at 7:30, we can hit the thing. Dinner is at 8. So we show up at 7:30, take our little photo on the red carpet, then we go and take our seats. As we're sitting there.
Y'all look like you were having fun, by the way.
We were having a good time. But as we're sitting there, I look up, and maybe 50 feet away from me, who do I see?
Zestfest.
TRell and Heather. Hadn't seen him in person since the Great Split, or her.
Wow.
So automatically, I start whispering to Lena, like, "Oh my God, look at that over there. Look at him. Look at him. Look at her. Heather and TRell, they're here."
Had they seen you yet? Did you get the vibe like that they had already like scoped you?
By the time I'm scoping them, it starts to become pretty clear that they're scoping me.
Yeah.
And you know the emoji that's just sort of like,
yeah.
That was the vibe I was getting. Like literally their jaws seemed kind of dropped. Like they in their mind, they saw the boogeyman. I just popped up like the boogeyman. They're like, what the fuck?
Sometimes you gotta pop out and show people.
Upon reviewing their Snapchat stories, I realized that they were drinking. So that colors the whole situation slightly differently to me as you hear what happens from here. So
did he have a cowboy hat on?
He left that at home.
Okay.
And we both didn't have ties on. I don't know if he was like planning on not wearing a tie. Myself, I was planning on wearing a tie. I watched the same YouTube tutorial like 8 times and I still couldn't figure it out. I've never done it. My whole life I've never done it. And I got a bow tie now. I want to be a bow tie guy.
Clip-ons are
like, bow tie, you gotta just
get the clippy.
Pop out and just,
you just gotta clicky in.
No, I'm gonna get I'm gonna get a backup clip-on at the very least.
Yeah.
Okay. So pretty clear, but pretty soon after, I'm gonna say within like a minute or two of me scoping the fact that they are in the same building, he comes over. He approaches me. As he gets over to me, I stand up. He's got a guy with him. Now, I don't know who the guy is. It has been suggested to me that it might be his manager, Jack.
Okay.
I have not done the prerequisite Googles to figure out what this guy looks like.
I'm not familiar with Jack.
It is a African-American man with a baldy.
Okay.
That's all I know. And Lena filled in the details. She said, because I didn't really peep this, but as they're coming over, Lena said that the emotion coming from the other guy was kind of like, no, like, I gotta stop this. Like, this is bad. Like, what the fuck's gonna happen? Like,
it's like a Flacco caption. And this is bad.
And I'm asking her. I'm like, he seemed like he was shaking his head at me. She's like, no, it seemed like he was shaking his head like at TRell. Like he was. And if it is his manager, then it makes sense. Like, okay, he's pissed off because he doesn't want to see anything happen. For the record, we're both wearing suits. Everybody's wearing suits. There's a lot of actual famous people here. This would be like the most inappropriate place ever to fade.
That would have been the most epic fade.
The best fade of all time.
You missed your Will Smith.
You're right. Yeah. It would have made history. But
you weren't invited next year, but you'd be all right.
I cannot act like he is on some Ho Simon for not firing on me in this situation, because like of any situation in which we could ever see each other, this has got to be the #1 most inappropriate situation. Maybe like a funeral or church would be more inappropriate, but you got Cam Newton, you got Fat Joe, you got Cardi B. There's all these people. Even just me, I'm at a table full of homosexuals. I don't know, you know, they just sit us down at the table.
Bro, they know what
they categorize you.
3, 4, that's monsters right there. I'll fucks with them. We having a whole conversation talking about sex clubs, all this kind of shit. Oh my God, someone just sent me a picture of Jack so I can verify. Yeah, I think that's him. Yep. Spotted. It was Jack.
Confirmed?
It was Jack. Anyway, so as TRell approaches me, I stand up, so we're face to face. And I actually remember the dialogue perfectly because I texted you guys within a couple minutes to let you know exactly what was said. He says to me, this is his bar, and you can quote me that this is basically exactly what came out of his mouth. Pause. He says, you know, I ain't gonna do nothing right now, but if I see you later, I'm on your ass. My response was, yeah, I don't think that's gonna work out too good for you. His response, but nah, for real though, I know you happy to see me. My response was, yeah, I'm fucking overjoyed. And at that moment, I think Jack's judgment sort of set in, and they walked away.
So was your blood boiling at this moment? Like, were you like feeling fadey?
I know exactly what you're talking about. That feeling you get when your heart rate elevates and stuff. Honestly, no, I did not feel that way. It happened so quick that I didn't even have a chance to like have my nerves start getting to me or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm leaving out an important piece of dialogue now.
You had butterflies.
After he said, I did not have butterflies. After, right before he walked away, he kind of like looks around me and goes, "Hi, Lena, nice to see you." And it honestly didn't even seem like he was like feigning the emotion. It seemed like he genuinely, like, because he has no reason to say anything negative to her. Yeah. He seemed like he was being polite to her, which is, that's okay. And then they walk back to their seats.
That's so. I was wondering if Lena and Heather had any interaction because they used to be like pretty cool at one point.
They were super cool.
Yeah.
There may have been a little wave, but we're like far enough apart that it's like there's a significant distance between us or whatever. And then I'm seated in such a way that when I'm looking at the stage, all I have to do is kind of like glance over here and I can see what he's doing.
Yeah.
Now he is a person whose emotions are typically like pretty transparent. You can sort of like take a look at his face. And
bro, you should have like shot spitballs at him or something.
Oh my God! What I wanted to do is I wanted to get a fucking Snapchat clip where I just zoomed in super tight on his face of him just because he was kind of like watching the show.
Pissed the fuck off.
He didn't look like he was having the best time of his life, and I was like, oh my God, like I got to do this for the Reddit. If I post a clip of me just zooming in hella hard on his face. Do you think
if he had a couple more groovers with him, he would have said something? He would have let them handle his lightweight?
I mean, again, like this is the ultimate scenario in which like you're not gonna have any backup
because not that time.
You just like you know everybody has their seat at all these tables. There's a dinner that's served and everything. It's just like the ultimate situation that is, and there's a reason why Big 22 was in this environment lacking, right?
Yeah,
because it's just like you would never expect some shit to happen in this kind of scenario.
It's not the Source Awards.
It's not that kind of vibe. Yeah. Yes, and I did notice that they served chicken. You don't need to put out steak knives for chicken because you don't want anyone to go young buck.
That's true.
Anyway,
that's true.
Did I glance around looking to see if there was any steak knives available? Yes. But he goes back to his table, and so the whole time,
Lackiana.
A lot of times when I'm looking over,
you would never do it.
I'm seeing him text like pretty quickly and stuff and shit. So I'm thinking, is there going to be an ace boy waiting for me outside when I go to get this Uber?
Where were y'all at? You could have activated the squad. You know it's one press of the button. I'll give you the Cash App name.
Yeah.
I'm just playing.
You got hitters on Cash App dial? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway.
They see the money pull up, they check your location, not just playing.
Okay. So the dinner starts at 8. The show starts at 10.
Mm-hmm.
By 10:45, I look up. He's gone. Jack's gone too. I'm thinking they all left. Like why did they all leave?
This is what you do. You got to get out of there before your app.
I look back 5-10 minutes later. Jack is there. Heather and TRell are not there. So if Jack left, Jack must have like helped usher them into the Uber or whatever. Yeah. Make sure nothing goes wrong. Make sure Big 22 didn't follow him to the whip. That's a good homie.
The walk down specialist, 22 Street.
He's walking him down.
He's gonna walk him down at the car.
And at that point, I'm just kind of like, well, fuck. Because I'm picturing, like, the whole time I'm sitting there, like, an hour and a half or whatever, that I'm kind of, like, glancing over from time to time and just taking note of the fact that he's there. And I'm thinking to myself, like, what the fuck is going to happen when this shit wraps up, you know? At one point, I go over, I'm having a conversation with Cam Newton and fucking Floyd Mayweather, talking to them about the podcast
His name
and
is
shit.
Dab.
Who's Dab?
Dab Newton.
Yeah.
Well, I don't get that
Cam
joke.
Newton. No, it's not a joke. That's his nickname. That's what everybody calls him, Dab.
I never
Hit him
heard
with the
that.
Dabber Ranch.
Dab Newton. Every time he scored, he did that. So all the cool
I'm
kids
all about the Dab.
call him Dab.
I didn't know that. Okay.
So change it.
So I'm talking to Dab.
Yeah.
I'm just completely
All right.
falling out of whatever you're saying. And I don't know. And that was it. So we watched the awards. And, you know, part like Jonathan Majors comes out, bro. He's crying his fucking eyes out. He gives like a 20-minute speech. I'm surprised I haven't seen the speech go viral yet because it was fucking ridiculous. He's just pouring tears out his face. The Christian Louboutin guy goes up there too. He's crying. The vibe in the room is crying. Everybody's crying. And
Celebratory crying?
yeah, or like, you know, Jonathan Majors won the Perseverance Award.
So like,
He was found guilty, but he's persevered regardless.
Yeah.
So I'm observing all this going down, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Me and her, we left by 11:30, which the whole thing wasn't done. I'm gonna assume that it was all done by like 12:30. It seemed like it was running a little late. But yeah, then around 11:30, I think they probably left around 10:30, maybe 10:15. We hop in the Uber at 11:30. And that was it.
They had cooler shit to do than you guys, though. Don't try to write them off. The clubs are. You were in Hollywood.
From my lurking,
that's what I was wondering.
From my
too.
lurking, did not appear that they did anything after.
But go get a burger and talk about how they saw the 22ster.
You know, I think they might both be on Ozempic, so I doubt that they got
No
a burger.
burger.
They're probably no burger.
No burger.
Me,
Just
go home.
all 22ster.
Do what I would do. Go home, eat a little handful of crackers. That's your calories. That's what I might do. I'm not eating a whole burger at 11:30.
And that'd be like that's like a diss too. Like, you feel me? I'm gonna eat some crackers when I go home.
Oh, as a diss to me. Well, I'm gonna eat some Fig Newtons in that case.
You feel me?
I don't know. But
That's what.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That was quick.
It was a total nothing burger of a situation, but it was a little peek. I mean, it was our first time seeing each other, and it was a little peek into exactly where the tensions were at and stuff. Because I'm going to be honest, when he said, "I know you're happy to see me," it just really felt like he still fucks with me. He still kind of wants my approval in a way. Like
That's what I was gonna say.
He wants me to know that he's doing well for himself. And
Acknowledge it.
it felt like in that moment, he couldn't even really fake having like hardcore hatred towards me. That's kind of how I took it. And then, oh my God, I'm so glad you're pulling those
I
out.
know you want this.
Telling this story is stressing me out so bad that I just, okay. And then it was interesting though, because just today, I saw a clip on the Reddit of Smack talking about the conversation that we had in the DMs that I highlighted last time.
That's what I was gonna bring up.
And Smack, although he did delete the DMs, which I actually leaked the original DMs to overly invested.
That's why we screenshot them.
Right. He then
Screenshot him, got him.
even though he deleted it, he then made it perfectly clear that he doesn't have a problem with me, that he thought that the photo that I posted of him was funny, etc. So I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Because
And he said he thinks that the beef is now redundant and played out, and he's over it. Like,
which was also interesting to me. And I'm going to be honest, there was a version of this conversation, this clip, that would have been very disrespectful that I could have easily, you know, and this morning running in the shower, I was kind of thinking about, you know, like, what is the tone that I want to execute when it comes
You
to
know,
this
Treyway
conversation?
brother Hope. You go a light on the Hoovers. Is this your peace treaty speech?
I am not a gangbanger, so there was no chance that I was going to take aim at anyone's gang affiliations,
Oh,
Big
it wasn't,
Baby.
but I'm saying, like, you know, his hitters are back on the streets, fresh out of juvie.
You're saying that Pop Smoke's killer is employed by Back on Fig?
I mean, Treyway gets jail cell interviews. Nobody does those.
Who has a jail cell interview?
Treyway and TRell.
Did
Treyway
he?
calls in every now and then.
well, I mean,
Did he? I didn't see that.
on this
Yeah.
very channel.
Young Threat and all them went over there.
Yeah, but I didn't know he interviewed Treyway over the phone.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Or
There's a
he
lot of that
pops up-
going on,
He
though.
pops up on the show on the phone. I'm not gonna say it was interview style.
okay.
I mean, you interviewed
But
TK.
it was like
you
on the
feel me?
live.
Like,
That's true. That was
like-
like fresh after he got picked up.
yeah, that fool was-
I tried to get Adam
which
to
is
do
even
that shit.
crazier, low key, when he's still fighting the
Right,
case.
but okay, anyway, all I'm saying is that I could accelerate this. I could make it worse. I don't really feel the need to do that. I'm actually still kind of shocked that he didn't talk about it on the show Monday, because he had to have known that I was going to talk about it, right? He talked about the big deal confrontation backstage at the Kendrick show.
Yeah. So what exactly?
But you know what I'm saying? If you said it first and then he replied, you know what I mean? He ain't the one in the wrong for talking about it.
You know what I mean? That's
You know
true.
what I mean?
But you can't. All right, him talking about his brother and shit. You can understand keeping that low key because that's like brotherly shit. In terms of me, he has no reason to expect me to have any kind of discretion. Now, one thing that made me think about not saying anything at all was I was listening to this clip of Joe Budden talking about how he ran into Rory like a while ago and they had a weird confrontation and they just didn't talk. Neither of them talked about it on the podcast, which I thought was kind of G to like have this conversation and just be like, not even important enough for me to bring it to the table. But I am Big 22, so I had to talk about it.